Hello, sixth graders. Today we are going to be learning how to multiply integers. So over the last couple days, you have been adding integers, subtracting integers, and discovering that subtraction doesn't really exist. And then today we're going to now use all of our knowledge that we've started to gain around integers and how they work together with their positives and their negatives and multiply them. Okay. But first, before we can solve this problem right here, I want you to remember that multiplication means groups of. Okay, so multiplication is groups of. So for example, when I read this problem right here, 2 times negative 3, I'm really reading this as 2 groups of negative 3. So that multiplication sign right there says groups of negative 3. So if you can think of this as 2 groups of negative 3, you will be in a really good spot for multiplying integers. So we're going to use our chips just like we did when we were adding and subtracting. And we're going to set up a model of what this looks like. So 2 groups of negative 3. So we know that negative 3 are the red chips. So I'm going to be using red chips. And I need 2 groups of them. So I'm going to get 2 groups of negative 3. So there's negative 3, and here is another group of negative 3. I have one group and I have a second group. So because I have 2 groups of negative 3, I have a total of 3, 6, or 6 negatives. So the total is 6 negatives, or negative 6. So let's put our answer on here. It equals negative 6. And again, I had 2 groups. There's one group. Oh, I should be using my marker. There's one group. And here is another group of negative 6. So for a total of negative 6. Okay, let's do another problem. And before we do that though, I want to put some lines. I have one group and I have 2 groups. Okay, I probably should use a different color than yellow, but the yellow can represent the positive 2. Okay, in this next example, we are going to do again example B, and we are going to say 3 times negative 4, or we're going to reread this as 3 groups of negative 4. So I need 3 groups of negative 4. And because it's a positive, we're adding these groups to the board. So I'm having 3 groups of negative 4. So I'm going to put 3 groups of negative 4 on the board. That's not a negative. Here we go. Okay, so here's one group of negative 4. There's 1. Here's another group of negative 4. That's 2 groups. And a third group, of negative 4. So I have 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups of negative 4 for a total of 3, 6, 9, 12, or negative 12. All right, so let's go ahead and draw this again. 3 groups of -4. So 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups of -4, which gives me a total of -12. All right, let's try a different one. Okay, when we have a problem that looks like this, -2 groups of 3. -2 times a +3. This is like saying I need to remove 2 groups of 3. Now, this is going to get a little bit tricky in the sense that we don't have anything to remove. So we can't remove anything if it's not there. So first, let's talk about what this means. This says right here, this problem says to remove, because of this symbol, the negative sign means to remove 2 groups of 3, and that 3 is positive. So I don't have any groups that I can take away. So I know that I need +3 on my board, right? And I have a -2. So this says that I need to remove 2 groups of +3. So the way that I'm going to do this is make 0 pairs, because I can put 0 pairs on my board and I still will have nothing on my board. So, on my paper. So I'm going to put, I need groups of 3 and I need 2 of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with 0 pairs, and I'm just going to start making 2 groups until I can take something away. So here's 1 group of 3 0 pairs. And then here is another group of 0 pairs. So here's my other group of 0 pairs. So right now on this board, I have no value. There is nothing here. I mean, I know there's chips, but these chips have 0 value. They don't mean anything. So I only put them here so that I have the opportunity to take something away or remove 2 groups of a +3. So if I remove 2 groups of +3, here's a group of +3, and here's a group of +3, I am left with -6. So I am left with -6. So I get another negative. A negative times the positive gave us this negative. So let's get rid of this and let's draw it out. I just removed those groups. And we remember that the multiplication is commutative, right? So if we can move, it's the same thing. Except the negative sign was on this one instead of on this one. So we could have moved this and said 3 groups of -2 and made it a commutative so that you could add value instead of removing value. But let's talk about what we did first. Okay, so we made 0 pairs and we had 2 groups of -3. So I was going to see if this works. If I can go 0 pair, 0 pair, zero pair. Ooh, look at that zero pair. And then I have another zero pair, another zero pair, and another zero pair. But they're crooked. All right, let's make these darker. It didn't work the way I was hoping it would. Maybe if I use Mr. Sketch markers. Those guys are big, big markers. Okay, there are my two groups. These are on here so that I can remove what I don't need. So I need to remove 3s. So I'm going to remove this group of 3, gone, and this group of 3, gone. And I'm left with this group of 3 and that group of 3 right there for a total of 6. Okay. Let's do another one just like this so that you feel like you have some more practice with it. This would be example D. Okay, and let's do that's a lot of chips. Okay, I'm going to do this one, but I'm going to do it with markers. Okay, so we're going to have -6 times 6. So this one means that I need to remove, because again, this negative sign right here means to remove. So I'm removing 6 groups of the positive 6. So remove 6 groups of positive 6. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to make 6 groups of 6. And I will do that right down here so we have a lot of space to work. Okay, so remember, I have nothing on my board to remove, so I need to make the possibility or create the possibility so that I have something to remove. So I'm going to try to make my 0 pairs again, and I need 6 at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's some 0 pairs. That's one group. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I have 6 groups of 0 pairs right here. So now I can remove 6 groups of positive 6. So let's go ahead and get rid of my 6 groups of positive 6. So remove is red, so I'm going to remove 6 groups of positive 6. Here's all my positive 6 right here. Here's one group, gone. Here's another group of positive 6, gone. Here's another group, woo, of positive 6. We're just clearing them out, gone. Here's another group of positive 6, gone. Just wiping them out. Here's another group of positive 6. And last but not least, my last group of positives, gone. All right, so I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups of red left over. Well, I know that 6 times 6 is 36, and these guys are red. So my answer is negative 36. Because here's 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. All right, so let's start to kind of see what kind of patterns, or see if you notice any patterns. Here we had a positive and a negative, we ended with a negative. We had a positive times a negative, we ended with a negative. Up here, negative and a positive, we ended with a negative. And here, a negative times a positive, and then we ended with a negative. Are you starting to see any sorts of patterns happening right now? Keep looking at those patterns. Okay, I'm going to turn my page right now, so hopefully, if not, pause so that you can see this part D still. And now we're going to go on to the next one, E, letter E. All right, letter E. Letter E says that I have -5 times -6. Okay, let's rewrite this. This wants me to remove -6 groups. No, this wants me to remove 5 groups of -6. That's what I'm trying to say. So this is a negative, and that symbol right there means to remove. Remember, the negative is remove. 5 groups of -6. So I need to remove groups of -6, and I have nothing on my board right now to remove. So I need to put some stuff on my board so that I can remove it. So first of all, I need 5 groups of -6. So we're going to go with 5 groups of -6. So let's make some 0 pairs here. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it's supposed to be 6. Okay, there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And last but not least, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, I'm trying to push those down really hard so you guys can see them. Whew, otherwise that would have taken me forever to color that out for you. Okay, so I have to remove. So removing means to put 0 pairs on the board. So remove means to put 0 pairs on the board. Maybe we should put that somewhere. Okay, so remove means that we need 0 pairs. Okay, we've got the 0 pairs there. Remove 5 groups of -6. So on this last page, when we had to remove something, we were removing the positives. This one says we're removing the negatives. Okay, so we're going to remove the negatives. So I'm going to take 5 groups and remove all of the negatives. So here are negatives. Gone. Here's some negatives. Gone. Negatives off the board. They're gone. Man, that's a lot of negativity leaving this board. I love it. All right, math. You negative math vibes, you are gone. Okay, now we're going to see what we're left with. We are left with positives. We're left with positives. Look at all these yellows. I have 5 groups of 6 yellow slips. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. I have 30 yellow chips, or I have 30 positives. So my -5 times my -6 gave me a +30. I'm removing negatives. I get positive. Kind of like in our last lesson of subtraction. Okay, Let's try one more. I want a smaller one so that you guys don't have to sit here and watch me do chips all over the board again. Okay, so let's do F, and then you're going to have some try-its. So F says -2, -4. Okay, so I'm going to show you this one with real chips so that you can see it. So this tells me that I need to remove, here's my removal, -4. So it says remove 2 groups of -4. Okay, I have no negative groups to remove, so I need to make them by having 0 pairs. Here's a 0 pair. And here's a 0 pair, and I need to have 4 in each group. 0 pair, 0 pair. Okay, there's one group of 0. Here is another group of 0. It's another group of 0. All right, and it tells me to remove the -4 in each group. So I need to remove 2 groups of -4. So here's a group of -4 gone. Here's a group of -4 gone. And if you see, I'm left with all positives. And to be more concise, I'm left with 8 positives. So it equals a +8. Okay, I can draw this out again for you so that we can see it in action. So we want 2 groups of -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there's my 2 groups. And I am removing, so I'm taking away the negatives. So the negatives are leaving. Removing more negatives over here. And then I'm left with 4 yellows and 4 yellows. And that equals 8 yellows. Okay, 6th graders, I know that this is a little bit challenging, so if you need to go back and re-watch it in action, go back and re-watch it in action. But here are some try-its. So I'm going to rewrite this try-its. We want a different color. All right, try-its. All right, try-it number 1 says that you are going to do, that's a lot. Let's do, it's a really big one. Okay, 4 groups of -6. So 4 times -6, 4 times -6. And then number 2, you are going to do -1 times -9. And then number 3, try it, number 3 is -7 groups of 3. Okay, so hit pause right now so you can really try to work through this. Talk to yourself about it as you're working through the problems. When you're ready, come on back and hit play. Okay, so the first one says 4 groups of -6. So I need 4 groups of -6. The first one is positive, so I'm adding 4 groups of -6 to the board. So 4 groups of -6. Here's 1, 2, 3, 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups. 4 groups of -6. for a total of 24. Okay, so a total of 24. 4, 8, 12. Oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't finish. Oh my gosh, Missy Wonder, your brain. There we go, 4 groups of -6. I did 4 groups of 4. There it is. Okay, 6, 12, 18, 24. Whew, that would have been a big mistake. You guys would have been like, what is she doing? Okay, so 4 groups of -6. We could even rewrite this out so we remember what this says. All right, so 4 groups of -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it gives us a total of -24. Okay, problem number 2. I need to remove one group of -9. So this one says to remove one group of -9. So I need to remove one group of -9. So one group of -9 is going away. Here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and I need to remove one group of negatives. So one group of negatives are going away. Gone. Which leaves me with 9 positives. So this equals 9 positives. I had to remove 9 negatives. All right, and our last problem, it says that I need to remove 7 groups of +3. So I am removing 7 groups of 3. So I need to make 7 groups of 3. Here we go. Oh, that did not work out. That's what I get for hurrying. There's one group. Okay, let's try this again. 7 groups of 3. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, and now I need to remove 7 of the groups of +3. So this was negative, which means remove, and then I am removing the positive. So if I'm removing positives, positive stuff goes away. I'm removing all the positivity. Gone. And all that I'm left with is so much negative. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. 21 negatives. That's what I was left with. All right, 6th graders. Somewhere on your paper, please try to come up with your idea or patterns or whatever you've seen about multiplying integers. If you need to go back and rewatch part of the video, please do that. So answer your essential question, put your reading out to the side, and then head on over to Big Ideas and do some practice work. As always, 6th graders, I thank you so much for all of your help and hard work, and make it a great day the Cougar way.